Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records, and we're talking Judas Priest this morning, and KK Downing, original guitar player, co-writer of many of their early hits. In fact, really co-writer on everything with Glenn Tipton and Rob Halford. So Judas Priest is formed in 1969, with Ian Hill on bass and KK Downing on guitar. This is before Rob Halford even joins the band. Glenn Tipton follows like a year or so later. They, of course, have a run of wonderful albums in the 70s. Got Stay in Class and Hellbent for Leather and Sin After Sin, Sad Wings of Destiny, among my favorite records. British Steel comes out in very early 1980s. Defenders of the Faith, just this amazing band. Rob Halford leaves at one point. Tim Ripper Owens comes in for two very good albums, Jugulator being one of them. And then Rob Halford in 2000 comes back. Long story short, in 2010, they decide to do a farewell tour. Band's going to call it quits. KK Downing says that he's going to leave the band as well, and they're going to go on an Epitaph tour. This is after the 2008 Nostradamus album. So they go out on the Epitaph tour, and they're supposed to be done. KK leaves. Well, what happens? The guys decide that they're not over with. They hire a replacement for KK, who looks strangely similar with the long blonde hair, playing the Flying V guitar. They do Redeemer of Souls album in 2014 and a couple other studio albums since. And, KK's wanted back in the band. The band ends up getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. KK's asked a couple times to rejoin. He is told no. And there's an article that just came out from Rock of Nations with Dave Kinchin and Shane McEachran discussing this with KK Downing. And I want to go through some of the quotes from this article I saw on blabbermouth.net. KK was asked about the possibility of rejoining Judas Priest in the future, and he said, well, I asked them if they want me to step back into my role a couple of times in writing, and the answer has always been no. So it is what it is. And then I went, okay, fine, then I will start a new band, which he has done. He started a band with Tim Ripper Owens on vocals called KK's Priest, and it's good. They have a couple records now. I know that certainly one, and working on more music, and they've done some touring. And he says, I'm pretty happy now, really, because I rediscovered, he says, I used to write all the material back in the late 60s and early 70s for Priest. And I kind of forgot what it was like to be, to putting the new material down and using yourself, as the, whether it's good enough or not. So, he had forgotten what it was like to be the primary songwriter in the band, and now he is that with KK's Priest. Downing went on to say that he's particularly disappointed that fellow founding Priest member Ian Hill has seemingly decided against having KK rejoin the group. He says, honestly, the worst thing about the whole thing is that Ian has denied me the opportunity to step back into the band. He said, we went to kindergarten together. We were like brothers. We spent so many years at the back of the bus complaining about everybody else, he laughs. Always thought it was me and him for many years. But I just don't know how that can happen. Like I said, Rob left the band for 14 years. And when I was and he says, I was instrumental in inviting him back in the band. How can he, meaning Ian Hill, deny me of the opportunity of going on stage and play my songs? They're saying, we're going to do it, but you can't, because Ian and Rob never wrote any of the music for the band. Asked if he thinks that Ian has been pressured by Priest management, or by Rob, or by guitarist Glenn Tipton, by the way, who has dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and does very little touring with them anymore. Occasionally he comes out for a song. Asked if he feels that the band's been pressured by Rob or Glenn Tipton to keep Downing from returning. He says, something's wrong somewhere. It doesn't make sense. How can Ian, the bass player that never has written any of the songs, deny me the opportunity of being in the band? All those years I've written all those songs and riffs, and how can he stand over there and play bass and not allow me to play guitar on those songs? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to not have the original guy back from the trademark lineup. It just doesn't make sense. Man, be nice to have KK back in the band. Obviously money's involved. Obviously they're probably still paying Glenn Tipton to be in the band, even though he's got Parkinson's and cannot perform. And maybe they just don't want to share the money. You left the band. It's unfortunate, and it's cool that KK has rebooted a band with Tim Ripper Owens playing music that he's writing and in control of. We all want to see KK back in Priest, but I don't think it's going to happen. He says it'll never happen. Those are my thoughts on this topic. Subscribe to my channel. We do shows every day. Peace out. Have a good Sunday. See ya.